Okay, kind of clearing out my backlog of Darby mess ups that I need to sort out. This is a HIATT Darby with a hinge, right? And I received it from eBay at a very low price because it came with a bag of bits. It's a non-functional one. And I thought, kind of cool. We have a key. We have a barrel. That's not a good sign. We have the locking lug, right? And it's stripped, which is helpful. And we have a load of these random replacement key parts that somebody was obviously trying to make a key for them, right? Spoiler alert, none of these work. Okay, so let's focus on the cuff. What have we got? We've got one side that has not been tampered with that I can see, and the other side that is completely mullered, which is an absolute crying shame. I'm not really sure how I'm going to tidy these up, but the first thing I need to do is I need to figure out if I can fix it by taking out this plug, replacing this, which is absolutely mullered at the end, right, and finding a key that actually fits. Brilliant. So first thing is, this is a standard cuff. So I went to my cuffs and I found a standard key. So this is for the HIATT Best, right? And as you can see, this is from a later model, right? And not the broken side. Let's go on this side. We can put it in and it fits, but it doesn't catch. That's a shame. But it does on that barrel. This is where it starts to get confusing. Have we turbo stripped this side as well? So the reason it does not sitting in is because this key length is not reaching the actual barrel. So that means that this job has got a little bit longer because I'm going to have to take this one apart potentially and solve that one as well as this one. One step at a time. So let's focus on this side. Let's see what we can do. Now, there's not a lot we can actually do about this, but what we can do is a cosmetic change, which means that these will be worthless in the eyes of collectors, right? But some Darby manufacturers, this is Croft, which I'm still researching and trying to figure out where they came from, filed them flat. We can use that to our advantage, because now if we file both sides flat at the end, right, it will at least look cleaner. So when we get the plug out, right, we then need to figure out what we're going to do about this damage here, because it is actually quite sharp on the fingers. So I'm probably going to file on an inward to try and tidy it up, leaving this ridge for the keyway as is. But yeah, this is an interesting problem that may be a long video. So first off, let's get the plug out. Okay, with the plug out, we now need to source a spring. Well, most of the springs that are the correct size are a little bit weak. So what you have to do is you have to double them up. So when you double up the springs, right, you're actually doubling the strength, which makes them a little bit more like this. Simple, smooth, and in, and then gives you a very, very bouncy, tight spring. So we're almost replicating it. So we've got the springs, we're kind of cool. Next thing we need to do is we need to figure out what we're going to do about this. Now, the problem we've got is that whoever mullered these, right, has absolutely goosed our chances of using a key in a traditional sense. So I may end up having to make a metric tool or something similar to like this, which is a pull tool, which you go over the top, wind it in, and then pull. So that might be something that we could consider. Or converting an old clock key, but again, that goes over and then it's a pull. So I don't like this solution. I actually kind of prefer this type of solution. So what I might do is focus on that. I need a few extra parts, but at the same time, at least we've got the plug out and we've got a way ahead with solving this side. I just need to figure out what I'm going to do about this, because I'm not binding very well. I am now. I wasn't binding. Okay, I have got So this side might actually be able to stay intact. No, it's rusted in. Okay, not a problem. Right, we'll solve that at a later date, but making progress. Right, so moving on with I've got a really poorly barrel and lug. I remembered that I've got a drawer full of parts. My wife calls me a hoarder. I just say I'm a collector of things that may be useful in the future. So I had a set of Darby cuffs with 2 barrels inside, but they were irreparably damaged on the hinges, as you can see, and on this one also irreparably damaged. So they were kept just in case I needed some spares. Now they were the pinned type, so I just wasn't planning on saving them, so I just hacksawed it off, recovered, and the springs are shot as well, and there's so much rust and gunk in these, but I have 2 new lock-in lugs. So that means that all I need to do is find a HIATT best key that will fit this lovely, right? And then I've got the whole solution coming together. So this should be good. Okay, I've missed the video where I was doing the reassembling. I don't know whether I pressed record or not. I'm a little bit miffed actually, but they're back together. So what did we do? Well, we swapped out the other side's spring, so they're both equal, with this. So it's the double spring method. So there we go, right, against this one, which is rusted, right. As we swap that one out, and you can see now that both of them, the posts had been stripped. It's almost like the previous owner put a metric thread, what's it called, metric tap down to try and make a key, which has absolutely mullered them. So good job that I did take it apart to get the second one off, and there we go. So you can see the profile there. Right, so onto the cuff. Well, I filed in as best as I could this damage here, right? The problem is that I don't want to damage these cuffs too much, and I also don't want to take away too much of a story, because these cuffs have obviously been treated badly by somebody, right? And therefore they've got some knocks and bruises. And if we look, you can just see that knock there. All I've done is I've taken the burr off, so it's not going to hurt your fingers. And I was going to file this flat, and then I realized that actually if I do file this flat, I'm going to lose some of the contact that's going to hold it in place. So what I did do is I took the sharp burrs off, right, and made it finger friendly as best as I could. So that's that side. Then on the other side, right, as you can see, right, we've got a barrel, and we've also got the replaced lead quite nicely straight back in there, all nice and snug. So I suppose we better show it working. All right, so in, there's 1, and in, there's 2. Right, get a key. Right, so obviously because we swapped the barrels over, I couldn't use the key that came with it. Oh wait, there wasn't one. Right, so we've got one from my collection, right, which will work. Right, so in we go, screw it in, and as it screws in, it's pulling the barrel back by leaning on this shoulder. It goes nice and tight. That's because we reached the end. Right, over we go, and undo it. Right, there we go, in, like so. Screw it, it goes nice and tight, and we can undo it. Right, we go, like so. So these cuffs are now ready to sit back in my collection. However, I know somebody that needs these, so these are going to go over to fill a void in silent but descriptives. Now, he's already aware of the damage here, but he doesn't have this particular generation of HIATT, so therefore he's going to quite happily take them on, and he's going to have them in his collection. So there we are. So thank you very much for joining me on this journey of trying to save a cuff. We've managed to save it, but unfortunately it's still got some horrible marks from the previous owner. So there we go. Thank you very much for watching. Stay safe, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.